Now this is a very famous shloka. Devi Mahesha Harinam Shute Shute. Recently, I was talking to a student in third year, and I was telling him, he should find time in every day to chant. No, sir, I have to prepare now, for a job. I said, in your college, everybody gets job. What's your anxiety? No, sir, but there are gradations, from 5 lakh to 50 lakh, we can get any job. So, I'm working out from now on. And he was not even able to, in this work hard, keep time for even chanting one round every day. The same way, Brahma actually is seeing, and he is seeing respective to himself. Because he is sitting at the top of the material world. Brahma is delegated with the secondary creation. And some people have this idea, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, Shiva is the destroyer. No, sir. Brahma is the secondary creator. Even Shiva is the secondary destroyer. Primarily, all the potencies belong to the Supreme Lord. Just like when you construct a house, you delegate some contractor, somebody. Okay? We don't like to stand there whole day. You have to stand, deal with those workers, and the construction comes up. Okay? We generally delegate, pay somebody square feet this much, and generally, I'm just giving an example. The same way with the same with the creation of the world. The basic ingredient, just like you give money to the contractor, the basic ingredient is given by the Lord. And then what the person does with that, just like contractor now with that money buys all the things and does it. Same way with the basic material given by Lord Vishnu. And not only that, he doesn't know what to do, how to do. He is instructed. Tene Brahma Hede Adi Kaviya Muhiyanti Yat Surya. Brahma is just, how is he glorifying Krishna, you see? Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Vajami, with his heart. So he is sitting in the material world, the top of the lotus, and below that is the whole material creation. And at the bottom is the, or you say the half of the universe is filled with water, Garbhodak, of coming out from the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodaka ocean. And he is lying on that. Prabhupada says, just like from our sweat, we can also create a little water. Lord Vishnu can create enough water to fill half the universe. And he lies there as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. On his navel is a lotus on which Brahma is born. And Brahma now, after his stage of full realization, when Brahma was born, he did not know anything actually. Completely ignorant. And he thought, let me do my scientific research to understand what is the fact. It is beyond you. Even Brahma could not understand. Brahma climbed on the stem, he came below, he saw water. He tried to steam more water. It's so deep that even beyond Brahma. Then he got frightened. He ran back to the top of his lotus and sat down there. And then he heard a sound. Ta, pa. Do tapasya. Similarly, when Brahma was not spared, nobody will be spared. So, unless you do tapasya, you cannot understand the Lord. What is tapasya basically? Our eagerness to know Him. We have to convince Krishna, I want to know Him. And Brahma did tapasya for the time we cannot even imagine, because Brahma's time scale is different. And then the first realization he had was of the Vaikuntha Dhama and the Narayana there. And the second realization was of Krishna in the Goloka Dhama. And now Brahman, in his full stage of realization, from his own perspective, he is seeing this world, material world, this Devi Dhama. Therefore he starts with the Goloka Namrita Dhamrita Lechatasya. How does it come? Devi, Mahesh, Hari, and then Goloka. There is a stage. So Devi Dhama is the place where we are situated. And we know the reality in this world. It's a place of where we are all conditioned. Condition means, we are dependent on so many conditions. There was one Prabhupada was giving a public class in Bombay. I've talked about them many times. And somebody said, he got up and said, Swamiji, I am God. There were 35,000 people there, huge pandal. Devotees could see Prabhupada's face becoming red with anger. You are not God, you are dog. They were shaken up, the kind of anger. Yes, devotee cannot tolerate blasphemy of the Lord like that. If you don't know anything, better to shut up than make an offense. Correct? It is very great offense to even contemplate. Then Prabhupada said, are you independent? God is independent of all the conditions. Okay? Krishna showed that. No old age. He is eternally young. Anything Krishna wanted, he could do just like that. In the Mahabharata war, Krishna wanted the clouds to come now, obstruct, create a sunset, artificial, created. Anything he wanted, he was doing. Anything. Not dependent on anything. Neither even so-called morality of the world. Krishna is not obstructed by anything. 16,000 girls came to Krishna. Krishna, will you marry me? So Krishna is not thinking, how will I manage or maintain so many? Anybody will say. You go for somewhere, you are a big warrior, and somebody has kidnapped some 16,000 girls, you save them, and then you say, all of them say you want to marry you. Can you? First question will be, how will I maintain them? So Krishna is completely independent. And not only Krishna is not thinking like many people think, oh, these are kidnapped girls, how can I marry? Independent of all the conditions, he is completely free from all the kind of situations. It's completely. Therefore, the word used in Bhagavatam is Janmadhyasya Itarasas Chartheshu Abhignaha Swarat. It's fully independent. That is God. Artificially we may create some kind of a hero in a movie, but he's God actually, independent of all the situation. When this Jarasandha used to attack Mathura with thousands and lakhs of soldiers, Krishna used to not feel like bothering his city. He all comfortably used to call Balaram, his transcendental brother. Both of them alone used to annihilate the whole army. In fact, when Parikshit Maharaj hears this, because he is a Kshatriya, tears come in his eyes. The glory of the Lord, he is amazed. God, alone, whole armies are wiped out. It's not a joke. Anybody can do that. Yes, independent. That is Krishna, completely independent. Any other situation you can say where Krishna showed complete independence? Govardhan, the whole mountain is there. He didn't say all the people, all of you please help me. I have to lift the mountain. Let us give an attempt. I may do something. No, alone he lifted the whole mountain. Yes, any other aspect? So many. If you see all the incarnations of the Lord, the activities of Lord Narasimha Deva also came. He came alone. Not brought you all come with me, some have to kill a demon, tough demon. Alone, wiped him out. The armies attacked Narasimha Deva of Hiranyakashipu. With the nails he threw them, tore them to pieces. Correct? Krishna doesn't need somebody's help. We are also, none of them we can say we are independent now. Now suppose, Prabhupada many times used to laugh, your independent is so much. Instead of 2 chapatis, you eat 4 chapatis, then you are in bed for a few days. Whatever you eat every day, just eat double of that in the night. Then you have stomach pain, you are sick for a few days. Even small thing like this, we cannot handle. And Krishna is completely independent of any condition. So just imagine how great he is. So this is what is meditating. So in Devi Dhama, we are conditioned. There is something called conditioning by the illusory potency of Maya. Just like why conditioning is done. Jiva is always too small in front of the Lord. The nature of Jiva is dependent. And nature of the Lord is independent. This is the fact. And if we can accept this fact, our life becomes blissful. And when we rebel against this fact, we will always suffer. Jiva is always dependent. He cannot even sustain himself independently. Every moment by the energies of the Lord, he is being maintained and sustained. Now like coming back to the same boy, how much he wants to work hard. And when they get a job, how much people work hard, day to night. And Krishna, who is the source of you itself, the soul. This body is also a design of Krishna. Then all the air which is sustaining me, all the water, the sunlight, whatever I need to sustain myself is provided by the Lord. And I don't want to give anything. Somebody just threw a few coins and I become so mad, I am ready to work for him. Morning 8 o'clock office means 8 o'clock I am there. Correct? Till 5 o'clock. Because I am not able to see that Krishna is my maintainer. This person, what he will do? If there is no sunlight, what your maintainer will do? He will also die with you. He doesn't understand the real sustainer is Krishna. Therefore, we do not feel our obligation to serve Krishna. That is the reality. So the mental world is a place of illusion. It is for the people who have no love for the Lord. It is for the people who confuse love and lust. That is material world meant for them. There is a difference between love and lust. Lust means, we told 100 times, it is we take advantage of other person for our pleasure. That is called lust. Love means you ought to make another person happy. Just like a farmer in a field, it's not easy to separate weed from the real plant. You need an expert farmer to separate. This is real plant and this is a weed. They sometimes look exactly similar. Similarly, gold and iron, they also look similar, but there is difference. Okay, both are metals, but there is a lot of difference. Gold means it costs fabulously. Iron means it. Similarly, you see diamond. Now, diamond and a piece of glass, they look exactly not so special, but somebody who knows This small piece of diamond will be worth hundreds of crores, and same piece of glass which looks similar will be worth no value. Okay? It needs discrimination. The same way, love and lust, there is a discrimination. And in this world, because we have not seen love, we glorify lust as love. The day in our life when we will see real love, we will throw the so-called love into dustbin. Therefore, Prabhupada said that is one of the reasons why Krishna did Rasa Leela. Many people say very controversial. No controversial. Because Krishna in the Rasa Leela showed real love. Prabhupada said anybody, because in this world, people are spinning around sex desire. And they are cheated by Maya. They are cheated by Maya into believing lust as love. So Krishna displays his pastime with the gopis of love. And anybody hears of this pastime from a devotee, not from a non-devotee, from a devotee, will be wiped out from his heart, lust will come out. Because why? When he sees real love, he will understand what is the value of lust. And we gave this simple example. Suppose you are wearing artificial jewelry and you see somebody wearing real jewelry. Till the time you have artificial jewelry and all people, oh yeah, so nice, correct? But actually when you see real jewelry, those who know, we don't know, the ladies when you have, correct, all the girls generally wear artificial jewelry, they buy from any fancy shop, 10 rupee, 20 rupee, you get those golden color. But those who have real jewelry, they know it. Otherwise, what is the need of real jewelry then? If artificial jewelry was as good as real jewelry, why do you need it? No, it cannot match, it cannot match. The weight, the look, the glitter of artificial jewelry is 1:1,000,000 to a real jewelry. Otherwise, why people spend crores to get real jewelry? But when you have real jewelry, or you see real jewelry, you will take out artificial jewelry and throw it up. Same way, actually, when we see real love of Krishna, Krishna is the only object of love. Prabhupada says, we have to learn to love Krishna, and that is the process of Krishna consciousness. What is the meaning of this movement? International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Prabhupada says, or we say Krishna Consciousness Movement. Whatever word he used, Prabhupada used these two words. Prabhupada translates from Rupa Goswami's book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is the original word there? Krishna Bhavana Amrita Sindhu. That is translated as Krishna Consciousness. Krishna Bhavana, the love for Krishna, nectar of that, ocean of that. So ocean of the nectar of love of Krishna. Now when somebody comes to touch it, when somebody accesses it, then what happens? He actually understands the nature. Okay? Nature of real love. So Devi Dhama, this is not generally accessible. Devi Dhama is people spinning around. The chief of the pleasures in the Devi Dhama is sex desire. And the other desires are there. And people are running around with those pleasures. And a pure devotee comes. He brings in his heart love for Krishna. That's all. And morning we were discussing this fantastic point. Devi Sampad and Asuri Sampad. Everybody is so satisfied with the Asuri Sampad he is having. Asuri Sampad is all this, so much so-called wealth of this world, called Asuri Sampad. But we all know the great sages, just like Vedavyasa, was sitting in a hut. But what was he having? Why is he worshipped? Every, we call it Vyasa Puja. The whole Vedic culture loses meaning if Vedavyasa is rejected, because all are his books. Correct? Everything is his books practically. All the Puranas, Vedas, Upanishads, Mahabharata, everything is coming out from him. That is his compilation. What was he having? He was living in a hut. What was his contribution? Devi Sampad. Transcendental realizations of Krishna in his heart. So, Vedic culture means, many times people say this or that as an application. That is separate issue. The essence of the Vedic culture is, the goal of human life is Devi Sampad, not Asuri Sampad, which we are enchanted by in this world. Devi Sampad, real wealth. And what is real wealth? Correct? It is all of the wealth is visible. The beauty of Krishna and the beauty of love of Krishna he is keeping in his heart. Therefore, devotees were so mad after Prabhupada because he had that in his heart. He's keeping Krishna in his heart. Devotee, Tirtham Kurvanti Tirthani, he converts a place into a place of pilgrimage. Because why? Because in his heart, the love of Krishna is manifest. Now, this love of Krishna and the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes predominates over this mundane pastimes in this world. Those who are fools get lost in the variety of material relationships. And those who are intelligent, they know I have to focus on the Krishna relationship and the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Those are intelligent, they read Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita daily because they hear about sweet pastimes of Krishna with the devotees. And those who are fools, they read newspaper, they read magazines, they watch TV, the serials, cinemas. What is there in that? Ahasuri Sampada. And the so-called relationships of cats and dogs of this world. They are very interested in that. Where Prabhupada says, where you want to go, we can know by that. If you want to go to Krishna Loka, you will read Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just like suppose you want to go to America, how much will it gain to read about America? Are you aware? This street is there, this town is there. If somebody is talking about America, anybody has gone, how much keen people are to listen, you know. Foreign returned is like as if he has come from Vaikuntha. No, this is like that. This is like. So similarly, if you want to go to Krishna Loka, how much will be keen to hear about Krishna? Oh really? You know, suppose Narada comes, why they used to get up? Because they want to hear about Krishna Loka. What was Krishna doing? What was Narayana doing there? Because they want to go there. So now Brahma is saying, below I see this Devi Dhama. He is at the top of that, you know, from his position. Then Mahesha Dhama is Lord Shiva's abode, the husband of Devi. His abode is even higher. It's somewhere between the middle world and the spiritual world. So those people who are fed up and frustrated with the so-called love of this world, which is, you know, celebrated as, actually it is lust, but celebrated as love. For those who at least became frustrated with that, they can achieve Mahesha Dhama. Love for real love is not manifested in their heart. Okay? What is manifested in their heart is frustration from so-called love of this world. So at least they can achieve Mahesha Dhama, their detachment there. And then still higher than that, Devi Mahesha Haridhama. Haridhama means he is a pure devotee. There is no trace of mundane love, material, and he is revived in his heart love for the Lord. Then he can enter Vaikuntha Dhama, also known as Haridhama. But even the topper than that is Goloka Dhama. Goloka Dhama means a place where Krishna has his pastimes in two-handed forms. In Vaikuntha Dhama, Haridhama, you will get God with four-handed form, Narayana. Correct? Just like Tirupati, Narayana is standing there. And there is a gap between you and the Lord. You can have Shanta Rasa, Dasa Rasa, that's it. You cannot have three Rasa, Sakhya, Vasalya, Madhurya. Madhurya, Lakshmi already over. No vacancy. What do you do then? So, but it is not small. Vaikuntha Dhama, even if you get Vaikuntha Dhama, please take it. Great it is to enter there. Vaikuntha means no anxiety. Here we are dying of anxiety. In between two anxieties, what we call is so-called pleasure in this world. But actually constant anxiety in this world. Somebody was telling, everybody agrees that death is there. But nobody believes in it. If they believe, they will not live the life where they live. There still is hope. Maybe this scientist will make some injection and I will get it and I will live forever. Like Hiranyakashipu, the benediction he asked of Brahma was this only. He wanted to enjoy to the best. That's what Brahma gave him. You know, he could enjoy the best of saras of this world after he got blessed by Brahma. He could enjoy the best of the wine. He was always drunk. But people consider the enjoyment. got benediction from Brahma, you know, I don't die in the day, I don't die in the night, not by weapon, not by animal, not by man. So many conditions. Basically, what is the idea? I can live endlessly. So Prabhupada said, like that, even many people have tried in the past. You are not new. But it is always a failure, because this is the law, the God's law. You cannot, just like gravitation or anything, God's law cannot be. And Krishna wants, he can break it. Just like Krishna lifted a Govardhana hill, he can do anything if he wants. But the laws in general are this: everybody has to die. Prabhupada says devotee does not die. He doesn't experience death the way karmis experience. His death is compared like a cat holding kitten and cat holding rat. Cat holding rat, rat feels the jaws of death, and what does it feel? Constant fear. That is how ordinary man dies. And Prabhupada says a human being should not die like that. Any person you take in this world, doctors are conscious, it dies a fearful death. Okay? Who dies happily? But a kitten or the cat, when the mother is holding it, feels like devotee dies in peace, because you surrender to Krishna. He has no fear. Krishna will definitely protect me. That is the faith. It is not an emotion. This faith takes lifetime to develop. Yes, because he feels a reciprocation from the Lord. Even though Krishna is not visible to us today, when we offer devotion service to Krishna, we can feel shelter of the Lord. Yes, he knows Krishna is there. He has realized. So he has no fear. He is very peaceful at the time of death. Prabhupada says, don't die like cat and dog. So in the Goloka Dhama, its two-handed form of the Lord is visible, and what happens there? Sweetest pastimes possible. Real love is manifest without awe and reverence. So based on your consciousness, Yamgam Vapi Swaranamava Tajte Ante Kalivaram. Death is the final exam. In China they have a system which is most controversial. If you do some crime, they push you down into school. You have to go back to 7th class or 1st class. They have that. Very strange system. Worldwide it is. They push you down. The degree they cancel. You are a doctor, they cancel the degree. They put you into 6th class. And you have to climb the way up again. You know, they send back to school and they cancel the degrees. If somebody does very straight. Something similar is the system at the point of death. If at the point of death you are leaving the human body, where you have not developed real love for the Lord, but still the mundane desire for enjoyment has become intense, go back to plant kingdom or animal kingdom. Many times Prabhupada used to tell devotees, you know, when devotees came to America, Prabhupada came to America, so devotees were around and he created by the grace. And Prabhupada used to be always encouraging them, do devotion service to Krishna. It will save you from the greatest of the danger. They were hearing this. They don't know what it means, you know. They're just very new, they're hearing Prabhupada. One day they all got, Prabhupada, tell us one thing. Every day you tell greatest of danger. What is this greatest of danger you are talking about? Prabhupada said, going back to the animal kingdom. And you don't know how fearful condition an animal lives. You can see another kind. Look at the fishes. Just imagine the fearful condition. Suddenly a big fish will come and you are inside that. Very fearful life. And as you go up, the life becomes less and less fearful. Correct? Human form of life, actually, person should live fearlessly. That means he is self-realized. And in Vaikuntha there is no fear. Narayana, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Actually, he is holding that. Devotees to give assurance, no fear. Just enjoy. No school to go, no college to go, and no office to go. Just enjoy. That is the Vaikuntha. You are not to work for food or anything. Atma doesn't need any one of these things. Person is actually completely fearless and blissful. And in Goloka, therefore there is no anxiety in Vaikuntha. Because Narayana is there as a protector. That pastime is, you know, at the door of Vaikuntha. What happened? When they were cursed, Jaya Vijaya cursed, at that time Narayana personally appeared. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is Vaikuntha. Narayana is personally protecting his devotees even if they are cursed. He comes and tries to resolve them. He personally begs pardon. He said, I am very sorry. Actually, Krishna, there is no curse can act. It was Krishna's pastime that he wanted to play with his devotees as enemies. So what would it just have fighting spirit? But it did so many things, because for the whole material world, Krishna's pastime become auspicious. It is beneficial for us. And when Krishna comes down to this world, real love Krishna shows. That is a very important point. Why does Krishna come to this world? For this purpose. His pure devotees come, they show in their heart real love for Krishna, which amazes everybody. Because the kind of sacrifice they do for the Lord, it is unimaginable. Nobody can do that. Sacrifice. Why? Love means sacrifice is there. Love, everybody can say, full love is manifest. Sacrifice. We cannot give 10 minutes to attentively chant Krishna's name. What love we are showing. Correct? So pure devotees means their heart, they show, they give their life to glorify Krishna. Correct? They sacrifice their life to glorify Krishna. Because love is manifest in the heart. And Krishna also comes down and with his devotees show beautiful pastime to show what is real love. And that's an advertisement of the spiritual world. So now when Jaya Vijaya was cursed, Narayana personally ran to the sea and he told them, not ran, he came to the sea. The beautiful description is there in Bhagavatam. How Krishna is moving, Narayana is moving, and there is beautiful. Just like in a temple we carry the palaki, like that Lord is coming, walking. And they're holding an umbrella over their heads. It's a beautiful description of a real hero coming on the scene. And it's so beautiful. The four Kumaras, they had just gone to see Narayana only. They saw Narayana, they were completely wonderstruck. He's so great, he's so beautiful. Every angle is so completely, they were completely enchanted. So that will be the bliss of Vaikuntha. But in Goloka, there is something even more special. Love of Krishna without awe and reverence. Sakya, Vasalya, Madhurya are manifest in the Goloka. The relationship of friendship with the Lord, relationship of father or child with the Lord, and relationship of love as a lover. That is manifest only in Goloka. In Vaikuntha, what is manifest is other two rasas, Dasya and Sakya. In Goloka, all the five are manifest. So this is a special privilege. So now, the great authority of Brahma. Brahma is the topmost living entity in this world. We have no capacity to ever know it by any scientific discovery. Impossible, sir. This Goloka. And Prabhupada, when this headquarters was coming up, he had a plan for a headquarters. Prabhupada said, make the Vedic planetarium there. That is called Temple of Vedic Planetarium. TOVP.org, anybody can see on the net. And Prabhupada said, in that temple, in the center, in the hall, hang the planetarium system. And people can go, floor by floor and explain each planetary system, going to Vaikuntha Dhama and our Goloka Dhama. Inform the public, ignorant public, about the presence of Goloka Dhama or Vaikuntha Dhama, which is our destination, which should be our goal of our life. These people are so ignorant, they don't know. As the Bhagavatam explains in the 5th canto, explain the universe according to what the Bhagavatam says. Just imagine. This was his faith and conviction that it should be demonstrated, and the whole world, when he comes to visit Mayapur, people just come generally, Matha Teka Bhagavad, that's the general people's, North India, they say like Matha Teka and ho gaya. But no, not only Matha Teka, upar to dekho, ye kya hai? Then anybody will ask, what is this Goloka Vaikuntha Dhama? Then devotees are preaching all the time. The objective is very clear. Srila Prabhupada ki, Brahma Samhita ki,